ahead.
So I'm going to ask you, myth or truth? Coffee is dehydrating. Myth or truth? Put it in the comments. Myth or truth? Coffee is dehydrating. Put what you think. Don't just pause the video and put what you think before you get the answer. Okay, put what you think. All right, so the answer is
Myth.
Is coffee dehydrating?
It's a myth.
No, it's not. It's not dehydrating. Although there's a little caveat to that. Depends on how you look at it a little bit.
Yeah, if that's all you're drinking.
That's
You're
true.
not drinking any water.
Well, coffee, if it's decaf coffee, right out the gate, we're done. Because what makes coffee even a conversation about dehydration is the diuretic effect.
Yeah.
It's the caffeine. It's the caffeine that has the diuretic effect. It's not the coffee. So if it was a decaf coffee or decaf tea, it wouldn't have the same effect. It's the caffeine. So if you're drinking a caffeinated, like energy drink or some kind of sports drink or whatever with a bunch of caffeine in it, it's going to have the same effect as coffee. It's the caffeine. So, I mean, a couple of cups of coffee, 2 cups of coffee, a little less than 2 cups, that's not going to give you the dehydration effect.
Dehydration, nope.
But if you're a coffee drinker, you're drinking 3, 4, 5 cups of coffee a day. Yeah.
But that's anything that you go to extremes with.
Well, when you're drinking the caffeine is what is triggering the body to release it. So it's like go through the body and just pee it out. We don't just pee it out. And now all the liquids that was in your body is all gone. So you end up being underhydrated, basically. Right. So drink water, not just coffee, because how you can counteract that? Drink water. Make yourself a rule. For every cup of coffee I drink,
I'll drink some water.
I also drink a cup of water.
Yeah. So
if I drink an 8-ounce cup of coffee, I'm due 8 ounces of water at some point. Sip through it, right? That's a good rule. 1 and 1. Or even 2 and 1 if you want. 2 cups of water for each 1 cup of coffee. Whatever. That. Come up with a little scheme for yourself. But yeah, that's one way.
Yeah, but drinking coffee, you won't experience the dehydration with 1 or 2 cups of coffee. So you can just have your coffee and enjoy it.
But if you're drinking a ton of energy drinks, you might.
Oh yeah, but that's a whole nother story because everything else is in there too.
It's caffeine. I'm not even dealing with the sugar part.
I mean, we're not even talking about all
but
that.
It's caffeine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as long as you're getting enough water along with it, you'll be okay. So coffee doesn't actually dehydrate you. It does also depend on your tolerance for caffeine. Some people can tolerate caffeine a lot better than others. If you have a low tolerance for caffeine, coffee may dehydrate you faster because you don't have a tolerance for caffeine anyway. So it's just coming after you, if that makes sense. Also, if it's really hot outside, if you're exercising a lot of activity, put that together.
Just heat.
And it could make the caffeine have a heavier effect on you and make drain out all your water reserves much faster. So that's myth number 1. Myth number 2 is, well, actually caffeine's not the only thing that gets you dehydrated, Y'all are saying coffee dehydrates. There's all these other things that dehydrate.
Sugar.
Did you know that?
Yeah, sugar.
Did you know that sugar is dehydrating? Did you?
Sugar.
Yeah, sugar is dehydrating, guys.
Sugar does everything bad.
I know, sugar has so many problems. But what it does is it gets in your bloodstream.
That's right.
And then because it's in your bloodstream, your body's like, yikes, get all this glucose out of my bloodstream. And so it starts pulling water out of the cells, to try to dilute all the sugar in your bloodstream. Do you want the water out of your cells? No, you don't.
No.
No, you don't. So sugar is dehydrating. So
also, people don't recognize, but alcohol is it can
be dehydrating.
Yeah, it can be dehydrated, but it's like a diuretic also.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But if you drink water in between, it's so different.
Yeah, it does change things, guys. Water changes
just
things.
Everything.
Yeah, it's ironic because you know how you get a hangover. You've probably heard about intermittent fasting. You've maybe even tried it. Maybe it didn't work out for you. Maybe you didn't get great results. Or maybe you just need a reset. But either way, we've got this free intermittent fasting guide for you. It's got lots of colorful pictures and lots of information with a 2-week plan to get you started intermittent fasting and enjoying the amazing benefits. So check the link below if you're watching YouTube, and if you're on the podcast, check the show notes. Get that link.
And it's easier than you think.
Yeah, so go get it. A lot of the hangover has to do with the dehydration.
Yeah.
Because water dehydrates you or it underhydrates you.
Yeah.
Sometimes so bad that you drink so much, you don't eat, you don't have any water. It literally brings everything down to that dehydration level. And that's when you start having all these hangovers.
Especially, that's right, with the alcohol.
Yeah,
because
it's dehydration.
You just didn't drink the water in between. You didn't just keep yourself hydrated.
And even eat. I mean, some people, that's why they tell you make sure you eat some in between while you're drinking. Don't just drink on an empty stomach. Don't drink and drink and don't eat. So all of that goes together with the proper hydration. So you got caffeine, you have sugar, and you have alcohol. These are all dehydrating. They have the potential to be dehydrating. So imagine if you had a meal that was sugar laden with alcohol, and then you topped it off with a dessert and coffee.
It's over. The whole three.
Oh
that's
my goodness.
That's right there.
You just gotta be. I'm not telling you don't go out and have an amazing meal. There's ways to tweak that, but I'm just saying, don't be surprised when you do these things and you wonder why you feel these ways. So, so here's a myth or truth or myth. You can never get too much water. Drink. You need to drink. You can never get too much water. Just drink. If your body doesn't need it, it'll get rid of it. Truth or myth? Put it in the comments. Okay? So what is it? Truth or myth?
It's a myth. Of course you can.
Yeah. It's called overhydration.
Of course you can. You can get overhydrated.
That's a thing. We talked about it, about with the electrolytes and all that.
It's especially when the body goes into that mode where it's dying. It's saying, stop. God, help me.
Have you ever been kind of weak or fatigued and you kind of had like your heart was beating, like a little bit of a flood or irregular heartbeat? I'm not talking about heart disease, cardiac arrest or anything, but I'm saying like, just a little bit of a, here in your heart, your muscles may be cramping maybe you're fatiguey, all that. And it's like, you just feel that kind of way, like, that kind of way. That's electrolyte imbalance, no doubt. And a lot of that, the doctors, that's when you get sick, the first thing the doctor says is drink plenty of water. Drink plenty of water. Yeah. Because it's like, get yourself hydrated. Because if you don't, you're going to regret it, right? So part of our issue is to make sure that you're paying attention. If you have kidney issues, you have to be extra careful.
Yeah.
But someone with a, healthy kidney, the kidney can handle. I mean, it's going to take a lot for you to be overhydrated. I mean, really, you got to just really be in a contest where you're trying to see who can drink most. A gallon of water in 20 minutes or something. But other than that, if your kidney is functioning normally, it's really rare for you to be overhydrated to the point where you come into these really life-threatening issues. So that was a myth. And the last myth. What is our last myth? Well, we kind of busted that already. The last myth that people were saying was, you got to drink when you're thirsty. Just drink, drink it right down and make sure you fill your body up with hydration. And we already talked about the chugging.
Yeah, because you're chugging, but you're
not a good idea.
Yeah, but it's in 20 minutes. It's just flushing out all your electrolytes.
Your poor bladder's like, oh, you gave me a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, I'm just gonna push that out.
That's right. And now you have none.
It's funny because it reminds me of, like, how when you wash your hands, you go and how now they have the song for the hand washing. I don't know if you know this, but for probably at least a decade or two, they're talking about the hand washing song. You sing "Happy Birthday to me," "Happy Birthday to me,"
and then
you
sing,
and
done
that's
enough.
20 seconds in order to wash your hands. Yeah. Well, they have all kinds of songs, and with the kids at school,
they
and
do
everything.
the toothbrush too.
Yeah, they do all kinds of songs when you wash your hands to make sure that you get the full 20 or 30 seconds or whatever. So imagine you wash your hands. You know how you just put the soap in and you just go, and you run off. It's like you didn't give the soap enough time to rinse off. What are you doing? Think about that when you chug water. You don't give your body enough time to absorb anything. It just goes zoop and right out. You got to give your body, your cells, a chance to absorb the water.
That's right.
Which
That's
is why
why
we just
sipping.
have a little at a time. It can absorb that. And a little bit later, it can absorb that. And
Sipping.
the cells are like, yeah, we feel good and healthy.
Just sip when you're thirsty.
So do that. Yes, that's how you do that.
Don't ignore it.
Yeah. And if you're not ready to hear your body say thirsty, then you need to plan yourself. Just plan water and sip until you learn how to hear your body.
But you know what else would help? I know it helps me a lot by making sure I have my water.
Oh, nearby, yeah.
Because I could be driving,
yeah,
and all of a sudden, and I'll reach for the bottle and take a few sips, and I'm good. I'm gone again. So, yeah, it's just being prepared to know that, yes, your body is going to get thirsty, and yes, respect it.